So I welcome everyone for today's session on towards the treasure within, and I welcome the new participants who have joined for us for the first time. I think I should record the call in case the other thing does not work. Yeah. So again, yeah, welcome, and I would like you to begin with first asking you all, and feel free to unmute yourself or share, or in the chat window if you want to type. So, when you read this topic towards the treasure within, what what rang up in your head? Why should I go and look forward to this talk or the session? Why should I be there? So anyone, if you would like to share, you're most welcome either to unmute or type in the chat window. Yes. Anyone, would you like to share why you are here? Yes. Why should we, some a few questions can be, why should I, care about finding a treasure within? How do I know there is a treasure within? Who has told me so? Why must I believe it? So these are the questions which I would like to first ask you and then initiate the discussion. Okay. Okay. So Aradhana ji shares that divine presence within is the treasure and how to be there with it all the time. So there is a knowing within me that there is some divine presence to which I should be, connected. Nehal says I feel very light after listening to the talks, and that's why I'm here. Yeah, Aradhana ji says that is the real treasure one should strive for. Saurabh ji says it is a part of an ongoing journey to learn more about the inner self and the treasure within. Okay, okay. Rest of us are typing, so I'll just wait and. Okay, Reggie says it's the most invaluable treasure I find worthwhile striving for beyond all others. Okay. तरु सेज बाहर तो नहीं है, अंदर ही होगा, है जरूर इंटरेस्टिंग, वेरी इंटरेस्टिंग. Aradhana ji says those glimpses which we get time and again for a short period of time give us the signal that it is there somewhere within us. Beautiful, all of you. Yeah, beautiful. Let's see a couple of more comments. Okay, so Mohit says, I think you may have found some inner treasure, so it feel like coming. Okay, one feels like coming. Interesting, Mohit ji. Yeah. And how do you know that, somebody else has found the treasure? How does that knowing come forward in front of us? Just a second, a person wants to join. Uh, yeah. Okay, a few of us are typing still, so I'm waiting. Yeah, welcome, Tarika. Tarika, we are at the moment we are discussing. I'm asking all of you to share in the chat window. Where is the treasure? If there is any treasure, why should I seek for it? So people are sharing. Just feel free to read in the comments window and share if you wish to. Yeah, Ridhiji, the question was that I asked the participants that, what is this treasure? Why should I strive for it? How do I know whether it is there? These are the questions. Why am I here in this session? Yeah, yeah. Ashwin says, the ascent to the divine, finding this treasure. Life is the human journey. The ascent to the divine life is the human journey, the work of works, the acceptable sacrifice. This alone, uh, this alone is man's real business in the world. Interesting, very true. Tarika ji, you can put off the video because we would not be using the video. Aradhana says someone who has really found it, his or her presence makes us feel comfortable. Listening to them leaves a lasting impact on you. Okay. Mohit ji shares. Okay. Yeah. He reshares. Okay. Beautiful. So friends, those of us who are joining just now, we were just discussing what is this treasure that we are looking forward to in today's discussion, and why must we strive for it? How do I even know that it is there? Because it is intangible. Yeah, hello Preeti. So these are the comments. Those of us who have just joined now, I would request them to go through the chat window once more, because I have already read out all the comments. Yeah. Yes. Ruchika says that yes, the real treasure is within us, and I think everything is with us, just like love or any other thing. Riddhi says the ultimate truth is to be one with the divine. It is good to have co-travelers. Yes, yes, Riddhi. Beautiful. Beautiful. So thank you all of you for sharing your thoughts on this. And that has given me a nice platform now to begin. So all of us feel that there is a thirst, there is a seeking, there is an incompletion that we feel, because of which we seek to complete, itself. And the very fact that I have thirst is an indicator that water must be there. The very fact that I can feel hungry is an indicator that food must be there. And the very fact that we feel incomplete is an indicator that completion is there, right now with us all the time actually, but we have to look for it. Now let's see and travel this path together, looking for this completion, which all of us have a knowing that it is there. These things are never taught in our schools. But all of us have this seeking, inherent seeking, and the owing to that seeking is present. This thirst is there within me. I do feel incomplete. I do feel restless if the rest is not there. Is the very indicator that there is some higher truth that awaits to fulfill that void that all of us feel. So first of all comes this honesty of admission that yes, I do feel this incompletion within me. This is the beginning of the path. Beginning is the ignorance, the half-lit ignorance that I know that I don't know. But there must be something worth knowing, which at the moment I don't know. So first comes this honesty about ourselves, our present condition, that I do feel incomplete. Now then begins the search how to complete. Now most of us have lived enough, 20, 30 years is a good enough lifetime, where we can see that in all our external pursuits, in trying to find a good job, maybe a nice relationship, maybe a nice education, finances, nice house, relationships, children, all of these. All of us have seen that although that is there, that is a part of life, but somehow that does not bring the fulfillment that we seek. It is okay for all of that to exist together, but it is not bringing me that completion or fulfillment that must be there. Right? All of us know, have a feeling. So let's see how to go about it, because saints and mystics have really, shed a lot of light on this treasure. Now this treasure, the word treasure itself, it feels rich, something which is rich. For example, when we eat chocolates, we know which one is a rich chocolate, right? Which has a kind of a fullness about it. So treasure by its very name means a richness, an abundance, and a contentment, a fulfillment. By the very name, treasure means that. Usually, if we see our ordinary human lives, we see that mostly we are with this empty begging bowl. And this begging bowl comes forward in front of whenever I'm interacting with a person, when I am interacting with human relations, when I am interacting at the office, regarding work, in front of my children, everywhere, even in front of this universe, as if I am always asking and asking and asking, fulfill my begging bowl. Either give me approval, if not give me approval, give me some rejection at least, that at least I know that I exist. So we see that this begging bowl as if comes out in front of all the persons that we deal with in our lives. So this is the situation at the moment of our ordinary human condition, where we are always seeking externally to fulfill this incompletion. Now, I would use a few words of Kabir Das ji, and maybe if time permits also Sri Aurobindo and the mother. And I'll be using English, so those of you who are not well acquainted with Kabir's words, it's okay, I will be talking in English, so you can, be there. Now, Kabir has said a lot about, finding this treasure. He says, "Jin khoja tin paiya, gehre pani pait, मैं बपुरा बूडन डरा रहा किनारे बैठ." So he says, the one who wanted to seek, the one who wanted to search, found it in the depths of the bottom, in the depths of the existence, in the depths of the being. Now when he says gehre pani, our body is, we know scientifically our body is, I think 70 to 90% water. Jin khoja tin paiya, gehre pani pat. So we have to really immerse ourselves deep in our being, the depths of our being. Main bapura budan dara, one who was fearful of that darkness within the being, he just kept sitting on the side, on the shore. He was not able to take that dive, and he was not able to find it. So if we are really wanting to strive to find something called a treasure within, which we know that it exists because it does not exist outside, so it must exist within, as Taru shared, then one has to plunge, take a deep dive within. And the depths within are bottomless. One can never say that I have touched the bottom of my being. One can say that yes, I was able to plunge in the depths, but one can never say that I touched the bottom and then I came back. So are the depths. Just like how the divine is infinite, full of possibilities, infinite possibilities, and just like that, the bottomlessness of our being is full of infinite depths. And the treasure is abundant, it never dies. One can never say, I am out of my treasure. So when we dive deep within, when I give myself this chance to be with myself, and now, this being with myself is not just sitting in meditation all the time, not at all. That is obviously, that can be a part of our life. But being in, touch with this depth means that even if I am existing in the external world, interacting with people, a part of me parallelly is anchored deep in those depths within, which is called as inner poise as well. Parallelly, a part of me is aware of the inner movements, the inner silence, the inner calm. Can you hear me? Hello? Can you hear me? I think yeah, okay, I think I'm back again. Yeah, okay. So, okay. So, yeah, I think I lost the thread. So we were there, these bottom left depths have to be, taken into consideration throughout our outward interaction. Throughout, parallelly, Kabir shares that just like that, a lady walks on this rope and does all the dances that she has to, walking on that thin rope. The parallel awareness of that lady stays on that rope. Along with that, a parallel awareness stays on what are the actions she has to perform in front of the people who are watching. And this is how we get in touch slowly with that inner treasure. It's a long process, but once you begin to get this taste of it, it's a juice, it's a rasa. And only then the rasa of outward external pleasures, then it, does not matter that much. And if we see our present lives, most of us will feel that we are addicted to some or the other form of external rasa. When I come in connection with this inner juice, the inner rasa, which is rich and abundant, then my dependency on the outer rasa ceases. Although I will still be enjoying all the external things, but I will not be addicted to it. My existence does not depend on it. My existence now depends on something which is unfathomable, something which is intangible, something which no one can take away from me. And that is how I become now independent of my senses, which so many, scriptures, so many of scriptures have said, take control of your senses. Now, if I just remain on the level of senses, I cannot, control the senses at all. Not at all. First, I have to get to the treasure within, and because of the immersion of the treasure, because of the divine juice of the treasure, there is so much overpowered influence of that juice, that rasa, that the other things lose hold over me. The indris or the senses now lose hold over me, although I still use the senses in my life. And there I become anchored in my Swaraj. This is called Swaraj. अपने में स्थित होना. Swaraj. Self-mastery. Now I know that because I am connected with this powerhouse of inspiration, the powerhouse of light within myself, there is no dependency on outer situations or approvals. Ji, हाँ, अपने पे the real victory is over our own self. Yes, Ruchika, Swaraj. And only then I can slowly begin to effect this change in the society outwards. Because most of us, we try first to change the society from external situations. And most of us, although we do have a much of a success, but we also feel very hopeless most of the times. Because it's coming out of an incompletion that I want to change this in, the world, but this is coming out of an incompletion. Now, when I am working from a fulfillment within, that action is coming out of a abundance. That action is coming out of a completion. And that in effect will generate more completion in external action. So an action which originates out of incompletion will forever perpetuate incompletion. And an action which is out of owing to my free will, taken from that light within, that rasa within, will in effect perpetuate a continuation of completion in the outward world. And this is how you translate, this is how we translate our inner to the outer. The inner completion now, as if it spills out to the outer world. Just like a flower, it cannot help but ooze out its fragrance outside. Because what is inside? It's brimming full of fragrance. What can I spill? Only fragrance. So if I am actually, in fact, this lets me to tell you and, discuss it here. If it is actually our responsibility as a human being to connect with this treasure, because this is what we are born for. And I think it's a pity that if we live a life which is separated from the treasure, so that we are not even able to manifest it out, ooze it out. So it's a, what do we say, it's a dharma of each and every individual human being on this earth to connect to the treasure. हमको लगता है ना कि we feel responsible for our family, for our kids, maybe for the society. This is the biggest responsibility. If I now walk on this path consciously, that yes, I want to do the maximum good towards the society, towards myself, that would be, walking in search of this treasure within. And even the walk towards the treasure is, brings a kind of a purity towards in our life. It's not, I have not yet found it, but even the walk towards the treasure is a beautiful path. It's a sunlit path. It's full of light. Difficulties are there, challenges are there, but the sun is also shining right in front of me. Yes. So Ruchika is sharing that action which is done out of completeness, then I also feel completeness in my work. Yes, Ruchika, very true. It depends on which center I am operating from. Let's take a few more dohas, if you permit me, and feel free to comment or question in between. I'll see how much I can take. Now, Kabir saying, कबीर खा रही छाड़ी के कंकर चुनी चुनी खाए, रतन गवाया रेत में फिर पाछे पछताए. Kabir is saying that you have been leaving the sweetness that has been offered to you in this life, and you have been just taking the pebbles and the stones on the way. And owing to this tendency, the attitude, you have lost the ratan, the treasure in the sand. Ratan gawaya ret mein. So you have lost the treasure in the sand. Now I will come to what it actually, indicates. Fir pache pachtaye. And then you will repent later, once this life is going to be complete, once you are on your deathbed, then you will repent, oh my God, what have I done with this life? So Kabir is saying that you were given this sweetness. It's not that you were not given this sweetness, but you only took pebbles and the stones. Now what are the pebbles and the stones? The pebbles and the stones are always being bitter about life's experiences, always complaining about life's experiences. See, difficulties are always there in each and every human being's lives. It's not that they are not there, and they have a purpose to be there. What did you focus on? Kabir is asking. Kabir is saying you left the sweetness right there. Focused all the time on the pebbles and the stones. And in the way, what did you do? Ratan gawaya ret mein. You lost the treasure in the sand. Now what is this sand? This sand is, first of all, the sand of time. It's like a quicksand of time, time cannot stay. It goes away very quickly. And we lose precious moments where we could have been touched with a deeper connection with ourselves, but we lost it. We did not focus on it. And the other sand is the sand of the body. When the body dies, it, mixes with the sand. So all the excessive focus on just taking care of the body, pampering the body, looking after the senses, the pleasures. Kabir is saying there you lost the touch with your real treasure, with which was your soul. And then you will repent later. So this is the treasure, this is the treasure that we have to find and connect with. And if one of us can find it, if thousands of us can find, then billions of us can also find. One must never go into this pulling down oneself, that oh my god, it's, I cannot do that, it's mere bas ki nahi hai. If it is given to us, it means that it is to be found. Okay. Saurav ji is asking, how do you explain the inner joy, the feeling of it? Interesting. Saurav ji, I would like to ask you, just take a pause. In fact, all of us can take a pause. I will also take a pause. Haven't we experienced true joy at one or the other time in our lives? True joy, a deep sense of joy, a deep sense of fulfillment. It may or may not have been really connected to any outward happening. As a child maybe, or just maybe just looking at a sunset sometime, or just sitting alone with oneself, with a friend maybe, getting in touch with this, maybe a word from a book which is full of light. For some it can be nature. All of us, if we look back into our lives, all of us know what this feeling of inner joy is. I think we don't need any external definitions about it. This is more of a feeling. If I try to put it in words, I'll lose, the effect in translation. So this the feeling that stays with all of us when we look back at our lives or even our recent past. The deep moments, the rich moments, which were not lived in a shallow hypocrisy. Those are the moments only worth living. Only those are the moments worth living. Rest all is just, don't even have a word for that. Now it is up to me, it is up to my free will, that whether in this moment I want to, experience that depth within my being or not. This is it. None of us need any external explanations, ki what is this inner joy, because you know it. So is that clear, Saurav ji? And we also need to have a trust that we know it, have a faith. All of us can know it and have known it. And that is why this seeking is there. Because if I have felt it once, then I feel this need of tasting it again and again. Yes, Saurabh ji, yes. Why not spend time on it? Yes. I think it's much worthwhile a time spent on it. To maybe sit in silence, alone with yourself and experience this depth which you have already touched in this lifetime. It is not possible that we have not touched it in our lifetime. It's not possible. It's not possible. Yeah. Yeah, it's everyone's birthright. Exactly. Yeah. We must get in touch with that. Yes. Yes, Ruchika. Yeah. So, Ruchika, yes, the inner joy, because the external and the inner are both connected. They are not separated. So the external, indications, for example, the beautiful mornings, the chirping of the birds, because we are not separate from it. That kind of, it kind of signals us to a deeper truth. The beautiful colors of the dawn, the colors in the sunset, they signal us to a deeper truth, as if they are trying to say something to us. So yes, when I feel this connection with the nature, and in nature I feel this depth, if you can feel that depth in the presence of nature, even when I put you in a jail, in a cage, no one can take away that depth or that treasure from you. One needs to know that. So yes, along with that external signal which sunset or nature tries to give me, or maybe waves of the ocean, along with that I have to know that this treasure is always within me. It's not that the nature is not around, that I cannot get in touch with the treasure. Yeah, so let's go ahead. काया माही कबीर है जो पहुपम में बास, कई जाने कोई जौहरी, कई जाने कोई दास. So Kabir is saying that इस काया में ही, ये जो काया है, इसी काया में आप वो है, ईश हैं, इसी काया में बसते हैं कबीर. इन द सेंस द रियल ट्रूथ, द रियल ट्रेजर is only hiding in this very kaya, means the body. In this very body exists that treasure, that intangible treasure, which at the moment I may not be in touch with. Jo pahupam mein baas, it means just like a flower has a fragrance, but the fragrance cannot be seen. If I ask you today, can you see flowers' fragrance? We cannot. No, we cannot see the fragrance, but we know it is there, we feel it is there, we sense it is there. Just like that, we all can sense the presence within. Just like that, we all can know the contentment within. Just like that, we all can know that fulfillment, that treasure, that yes, I am in touch with that abundance within, that which never dies, the real treasure. No one can, take it away. I may put you in a jail. I may snatch all your luxuries from you today. All your relationships I may snatch from you today. But this thing is something which I cannot take it away from you. Even when I torture your body, I cannot take away your treasure. Such is the power of this treasure. Such is the power. And this is what, brings detachment in our life. Because I see that even when the body is taken away, no one can take away this treasure from me. So what is to fear? What should I be afraid of? So a fearlessness comes then. Then I can, take the steps in my life which I was not able to until today, owing to this fear in my life. And that is why, friends, it's a responsibility of each one of us to get to this treasure. It's not a luxury, this finding this treasure is not a luxury कि सिर्फ 2-4 चुनिंदा लोग कर लें और बाकी उनके followers बने रहें. Not at all. Yes, Ashwin, the true wealth, only true wealth, that goes on even beyond death of the body, because that is immortal. That is you, the real essence of each one of us. और अगर उसको नहीं छुआ, if we don't get in touch with it, then what a waste, what a pitiful waste of human beautiful life. And then Kabir is saying that just like a flower has fragrance, the body has that fragrance. Now look at this beauty that Kabir shares with us. Kabir is saying that just like the flower has fragrance, now look at all of you, look at yourself. Imagine that you are a flower. Imagine for a moment, we all are a flower and we are oozing out this divine fragrance. We are full of it inside, and that is what comes outside. This is what we are supposed to be. Only there I can find rest, completion, fulfillment. This is the state that all of us crave for, being brimming full of divine, oozing out the divine. This is what Kabir says and hints at. Kaya mahi Kabir hai. My being exudes that divine fragrance. Kai jane koi johari. Now Kabir says not everyone can actually connect with that. Only the parkhi, the johari, one who really has a value of the true treasure, only that person can know the truth. One who has an eye for the truth. And who can know? Other one is the servant of the divine. Kai jane koi das. Only a true servant, a true faithful, loyal servant of the divine, or a person who has an eye for truth, only those can know this. This is the beauty of that divine fragrance. Because of its intangibility, it cannot be seen through our eyes. It can be felt, it can be sensed. One knows that it is there. This is what we have to become, like a flower. All of us who are there today, yes, Ashwin, all of us who are there today, this is our birthright, to be a flower oozing out divine essence. And that is our only truth. Without that, none of us can find completion. None of us. It's our true nature. To be a flower oozing out divine essence is our true nature. I cannot rest. I will be always restless if not in that state of being. Yeah, Ashwin shares with us, life must blossom like a flower, offering itself to the divine. Yes, and exuding the divine essence out of itself. Beautiful. Yeah, let's go ahead. नाम हीराधन पाइए और हीराधन मोल, चुनी चुनी बांधो गांठरी, पल पल देखो खोल. So Kabir is saying, only God's name, the divine, in whatever name, it does not matter what name one is using. Only God is a priceless diamond. The other diamonds have price, Naam Hiradhan paiye or Hiradhan mol. It means the other diamonds have price attached to it. Only this, the divine essence, is a priceless diamond within. Again, referring to the treasure, the fulfillment. Chuni chuni bandho gaanthari. Tie your bundle with the name of God. Pal pal dekho khol. Every moment be aware of that treasure. Now this is what that parallel consciousness is that I was referring to earlier, that inner poise. So what is happening? Imagine you are going about your daily chores, I'm brushing my teeth, I'm meeting a friend, maybe involved in an, activity, drawing something, anything. It can be anything. Maybe doing some challenging task, maybe I have a challenging work to do today. At all times, as much as possible, as if a parallel consciousness is attached, is anchored within the divine essence within. Knowing that it is there, not doubting it for a moment. Not giving yourself away to doubts that, oh my God, maybe I'm not sure, maybe it is there, not there, because this doubt is the very wall between us and the divine essence. Only doubt is the wall. Only thoughts are the wall. When you have this solid faith that yes, I am immersed in this divine essence, it is with me all the time, whether I feel it or not. That gives you that inner poise in which you can parallelly, be aware of it. So I am talking to a friend, but also parallelly aware of that presence. I am doing an activity, but also parallelly aware of that abundance within. So this is what Kabir is also hinting at. Kabir is saying, pal pal dekho khol. Remembrance, sumiran. Because हमको आदत होती है, we are so used to forgetfulness. We forget. 40 minutes passed away and I don't even remember at what point of time I was aware of this divine essence. The whole day passed away and I forgot to remind myself. So because of our forgetfulness, because of our tendency to forget, we must reaffirm, remind ourselves that yes, it is there with me. It has never left me. It can never leave me because it is my true nature. And then slowly we develop this thing which we call as inner poise, inner calm, inner certitude, as if an inner life parallelly goes on with an outer life. Now this inner life is what gives us abundance. This inner being, this inner calm is what gives me richness, fulfillment, which all the external things were not able to so far. और अगर external things दे भी देती हैं, it's always temporary. For example, I may enjoy chocolate maybe once and it's able to, give me fulfillment. But maybe the next time I am having chocolate, my state of being is that it's not able to give me fulfillment. But this parallel awareness within my being never, kind of dies away from giving me fulfillment. Because it's the very nature of that parallel consciousness. The nature of the parallel consciousness is to provide the sense of contentment. Our true anchor. As if I have to peg my tent there. Yeah. So let's go ahead. मैं जानू हरि दूर है, हरि हृदय माही, आरी टाटी कपट की, तासे दीसत नाही. So कबीर जी कह रहे हैं, I know, I think that the divine is far away from me. मैं जानू हरि दूर है. But the divine is actually present within my heart, within my being. Ari tati kapat ki. It means that as if a curtain of thoughts. Kapat means duality. Kapat means hypocrisy. I want to say something else, but I mean something else. Always living in this duality in the mind. Wanting to express something else, but saying something else. This gives a duality, as if this curtain of duality separates me from the divine presence. And this brings us back to honesty. This brings me back to a certain purity in my life, that whatever I am saying it out in words is what I mean to say to a friend or anything else. This curtain of hypocrisy, the curtain of thoughts, a veil of thoughts, is the very separation between me and the divine. Else there is no separation. Else the divine is right there, residing in the inner temple of the heart. This is the truth of all of us, excluding none. This is the truth. Now, how to dissolve this curtain of hypocrisy? Being aware of it, being aware, in this moment, what am I doing? I want to say something else to this friend, but I am saying something else. Why am I not expressing myself honestly? Being aware of our own ugliness, being aware of our own shadows, being aware of our own, cunningness. Just this awareness has the power of shedding that curtain of hypocrisy. Just like a magnifying glass, we use this example in the earlier talks. Just like a magnifying glass has the capacity to burn a paper with the same sunlight which was so far not able to burn. That intensity that you are able to shine on that paper, that that intensity burns the paper. And just like that, the intensity of our awareness, the intensity of our attention, of my being honest with myself, that burns the wall of hypocrisy, and there I am, face to face, hand in hand with the divine presence within, which was never gone away. It was just there, right a call away. परदेसा खोजन गया, हर घर हीरा की खान, कांच मनी का पारखी, क्यों पावे पहचान. So Kabir is saying, I tried to find everywhere throughout the globe. I tottered around throughout the world. I walked around, wandered around for this treasure. Ghar hira ki khan. While in my being itself there was lying this treasure. Ghar hira ki khan, कांच मनी का पारखी, क्यों पावे पहचान. It means that if I am an assayer of glass jewelry, if I do not have that eye of truth, then how would I be able to find that truth? This is an experience of many people. In fact, some of you also may have experienced it. Many a times we are lost in our thoughts, and a very beautiful moment in nature may be happening in front of us, but we will be just totally lost in our thoughts, not able to immerse ourselves in that beauty. But on those moments when I am available, when I am open to when I am not lost in my thoughts, then that nature, that beauty is right there in front of me, as if my eye is open to that. So Kabir is saying that if we are looking only for little temporary reliefs and little temporary pleasures, then we find only that. But if now I am only seeking for the ultimate redemption for myself, then no one can evade that truth away from me. I just need to have an eye for truth. Now this eye for truth is of each of our own, it's an individual eye for truth. We all have a knowing towards truth. We all have a feeling towards truth. No one can give it, in definition to us. We know what person is saying what. We immediately have this eye, what is, truth and what is falsehood. So one has to listen to this inner voice, this feeble little inner voice, which is saying, this is truth and I must follow it. And along with that, one must also be able to reject, because there are many moments of falsehood in our lives. Most of the moments are of falsehood in our lives. In those moments, I should be able to reject that, yes, this is not coming out of truth and I am not going to follow this. So that rejection at the same time also has to be there. Along with the eye for truth, a rejection of falsehood also has to be there. When we are aware of our own movements, as we were talking earlier, I know which movement is coming out of my truth and which movement is coming out of my falsehood or hypocrisy or dualistic agenda, manipulative agenda. Now keeping an eye on that and not following those movements. Because if I follow that movement of my being which is originating from falsehood, then I separate myself from the divine essence in that moment. Now it's up to my free will whether I want to do that or not, or whether I want to say no to the movement of falsehood, or hypocrisy or manipulation, and I want to stay with truth. और बहुत बार ये होता है that many a times we stay with truth. For that we have to lose our ego. We want to be right all the time. Many a times it's good to be proven wrong, because only in proven wrong you get your true center, the light within, the depth within the being. So allow yourself to be wrong. Allow yourself to break in front of others. Allow yourself to not know. I don't know. But do not allow yourself as much as possible to stray away from this beauty, the hidden beauty that you have now, treaded this path on. So this is totally my choice. Totally my choice. Each moment, it's a free surrender each moment. Whether I surrender to the ego or to the treasure within. Who do I value more? Do I value more the ego of my own opinions, my own beliefs, my own past, my own, the books I may have read, my own, philosophies I may have read? Do I value that? Or do I now in this moment want to be in this divine immersion, the beauty of the divine within my being, and act from there? What do I want? Yeah. So if there are any questions, please feel free to share, unmute or share or type or share. Otherwise, I can just take it ahead, wind up little later. Okay. Now Kabir in many dohas also shares of chakras. And although I would not go into detail, because focusing too much on chakras takes away our attention from the divine, and one gets more focused on the chakras, which should not be the purpose of life. So I would just take one doha where he kind of hints at a signal from the body. Hirday hira upjaye navi kamal ke beech, जो कबहू हीरा लखे कदे ना आवे मीच. So Kabir is saying कि in your heart itself the treasure dawns upon. In your inner heart, as mother from Pondicherry, she also shares that the seat of the soul is in the depths of the heart, in the depths of the inner heart. It's not the physical heart, it's the fourth dimension. And we have talked about this earlier in one of our talks. It's the fourth dimension deep inside the heart level. Hirday hira upje navi kamal ke beech means the navel center, the lotus of the navel and the lotus of the heart. In between these two zones, the treasure hides and the treasure shines. Jo kabahu hira lakhe. A person who ever finds this treasure within this being is always forever immortal. Kadi na ave meech. Meech means moth, death. That person who touches the soul, who gets established in his soul, in her soul, strays away from mortality and gets anchored in immortality. And if we really look at human evolution, all of us actually seek immortality. Just like look at our scientific advances, we all want to look young all the time. We all want to don't have any disease in life. We want to have a better life without diseases, in good health, and we want to have a prolonged life. What is all these hinting at? This is hinting at our true nature, which is of immortality, but which cannot be gotten in touch with unless I come in touch with my true essence, which is the soul. The true treasure which all of the saints have pointed out to. And this is an indicator because body is an instrument of the divine. So the indications are also there. One feels in the body the presence, the connection with the divine. So chakras are there for a reason, but excessive focus on chakras should not be the purpose of our existence, because then one strays from the path, then divine comes later, chakras come first. So that should not be the focus of our existence. Our existence should be in such a form surrendered to the divine. See, we can say to the divine, if you want my chakras to be open, it's okay. If you don't want it to be open, it's okay. I don't bother about that. I want to be at your service. That is most important for me. Opening of chakras, closing of chakras is not my domain. You do it if you want to. Right? So like a true loyal servant, you are relying completely on the divine. You are manifesting now the divine will in action through your work. That is what the purpose of a human being is. हंसा तो महारान का आया बलियो माही बगुला करी करी मारिया मरम जू जाने नाही. So Kabir is saying the swan of Mansarovar has come to this earth, and people start beating it by taking it for a bagula. A bagula looks like a swan, as they do not know the reality. Now what is happening? As if we are suffocating through this human life, focusing excessively on the ego. Bagula is kapati ego, is the hypocrite ego, is the manipulative ego on which we excessively focus. So it is said in this doha that focusing excessively on the ego, running off after your ego all the time, you suffocated your soul. You suffocated the manifestation of the soul that was present from the higher realms in this world to manifest itself. Bagula kari kari marya maram jo jane nahi. Because I did not know the truth of the treasure, I slowly killed the swan by thinking that it is a bagula, it's the manipulative one. Let's take this question from Mohitji. But if one has not even felt the chakras, then would not some focus help, or at least understand what is the process inside, the way we learn the mechanics of... Yes, Mohitji, totally with you. I was saying that excessive focus, the words I used was excessive focus only on the chakras can lead us astray. That was the only thing. And you are right, because they are present, they have been gifted to us. The chakras have been gifted for a reason. They are the manifestation of the subtle realms. So it is totally fine to sense them, to feel them, to experience and know them. Even Sri Aurobindo and Mother have also shared a few details in letters on yoga. Sri Aurobindo shares about that. But the excessive focus on the chakras is what is, can build up the ego again. And ego is something which can be kind of, build up by any experience of such a kind. So I may have a meditative experience with chakras, and that will just help me to burden my ego. That is what I was hinting at, that has to be avoided. Yeah. सागर में मानिक बसे चिन्हत नाहे कोई या मानिक कुसो लखे जाको गुरुमत होए. So talking about friends, divine grace here. So Kabir is saying that in this very ocean lives the treasure. Manik means money, the treasure, the jewel. Chinhat nahe koi, nobody knows about that jewel. Ya manik kuso lakhe, that about that jewel, only that person knows who has the divine grace. Jako gurumat hoye. On which the grace of the guru, the grace of the master, the grace of the divine shines. Because only the grace of the divine gives us that eye through which now I can look at that treasure and know that it is treasure for real. So this is the importance of divine grace, the grace of the Guru, without which our eyes are as good as blind. Without divine grace, nothing can move. I'm talking today. I don't know when my breath stops. Who is running the breath? Who is giving this energy for me to talk or you to listen at this moment? Who is giving this energy for the breath to go on? We have no clue. And that is what grace is. So those of us who feel disconnected from grace, feel your breath right away in this moment. That is grace. We have no control over it. And someone knows a higher being or a higher existence knows that this should be there. So this very running of the breath, the very possibility that I can use my senses, I can speak, I can listen, I can move my hands, my digestive processes are going on, I have no clue how they go on. My heart beats on continuously, I have no clue about the beats or the process. It goes on. It's like a mystery to me. Who is running this being which I call as myself? This is divine grace. And that is why, when we say that I don't feel the divine grace, it's just a moment away. Here you feel it, here in the next moment you lose that feel or the touch. As mother also says, I am never gone away. You go away seeking something outward. So friends, divine grace never leaves us. Divine grace is the very basis of our existence. Without grace, nothing is possible in this earth, in this whole universe. So when we ask ourselves, I don't see grace, we must look right here in this moment. Right here in this moment, grace is what all is. Where is you? If I touch my body, if I touch my skin now, where can I say I am this? My skin is grace, my eyebrows are grace, my hair is grace, my breath is grace, my listening, my senses is grace, my digestive systems, the whole of functioning, the chakras are grace. Where am I? Touch something in yourself which you can say I. This is what it is. And that is why it is said that I is an illusion, ego is an illusion. Because the only thing that exists and has ever existed on this planet is divine grace. There is no separation. And this unity that we feel, if some of us are able to feel that, this unity must be the basis of our existence, our actions, our words. This oneness with the divine essence. I hope you all are there with me. Yeah. Yes. Yes, Preeti, thank you. So, I think that's a beautiful moment to give it a closure. And if there are any concerns or comments, questions, we can take that. Yes, yeah, sure, Aradhana ji. Yes, Aradhana ji, if you remember, I had shared a little meditation with you, uh, which actually touches that fourth dimension. So, fourth dimension means that it is not of the body. So, when we say that the soul is present within the body, it does not mean that it is caged in the body. In the sense, it is coming from the higher uh, divine essence. It is not of the same 2 or 3D dimension of the body. It's not that something, if a surgeon opens up the heart, he will say, okay, this is where the soul is. It cannot be found there. So it is of a higher realm, it is of a dimension which is not of the dimension of the physical existence. And I think if you are interested, I will share yet another a little piece of information later with you, where again, along with that meditation, that little piece of short talk also shares about the fourth dimension, because we have to touch the horizontal depths of the heart. For example, if I look at my heart level, the front portion is full of the ordinary human emotions. And if I travel deep within horizontally at the back of my heart towards my, if I can call the spine, then there I sense the presence of this inner light. Yes. Yeah. Thank you, Mohit ji. So, there are a few meditations, or there are a few kind of processes which one can, if needed, use to get in touch with that depth of the heart, which usually one is not able to access. And that is why the beauty of pain and suffering, because when pain comes to us, when suffering comes to us, we have this capacity or the intensity to travel deep within the heart, at the backside of the heart. Yes, I will share it with you. Yeah. So in the depths of the heart shines this light, which we call as the soul or the psychic being, or, yeah, the inner light. Yes. Thank you, Radhana ji. Yes, Mohit ji, I will share. Yeah. It's a little talk by a speaker, and in that talk, about for 5 minutes or 6 minutes, he talks about that dimension, the fourth dimension. I will share it with all of you. Yeah. Yes. Beautiful. Thank you. Thanks, everyone. Thank you for being there. Yeah.
Thank you, Monica.
Thank you, Reggie. Thank you. Thank you.